But we're gonna hop into Survivor Series. We're gonna talk about this. We didn't do a recap Sunday night because your boy had plans after, and I was like, all right, no, we can do it Monday, and then we just never did it, and then Brandon didn't want to do one, or he said I could just do it by myself. I'm like, am I losing my passion for this business? Is that what's happening, Brandon?
I mean, I can't answer that. You have to answer that question,
I,
Philip.
I don't know. I don't know, man. But here we go. Survivor Series 2019. It happened, ladies and gentlemen. It did. We're not going to cover the kickoff show. We're just going to get straight to the main card. We're going to talk about the matches, and we're going to give you our grades, or my grades for the matches. I don't know if Brennan, he does grades. Maybe he does numbers. I hope he doesn't do stars like that hack Dave Meltzer. But, we're going to find out. So here we go. The NXT Women's Team, they defeat the Raw and SmackDown Women's Teams in this 5-on-5-on-5 Survivor Series Elimination Women's match. Rhea Ripley's a star, man. What is she, like, 22, 23? She's in that age group of people who are just excelling right now in the business. She was a star the night before TakeOver War Games, being down two people after Dakota Kai. Fantastic heel turn, by the way. She might be a contender for heel turn of the year. We don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, man, I mean, Rhea Ripley just dominating. And she pinned Charlotte Flair. Like, Charlotte right now is like Hogan in 87. Like, that's her equivalent. And she pinned her. You know what I mean? That's awesome. Anyway, I gave the whole match a B.
I don't know if I would call Charlotte Flair Hogan in 87. She's not exactly drawing the money that Hogan was drawing in 87.
I'm talking about, like, as far as, like, the women's division, she's the star. Like Becky's Macho Man. We just have to accept the fact.
Okay, so Becky might be the champion, but she's not the real star. She's not the real number one.
Exactly,
Okay, I see how it is. So, I mean, I enjoyed the match. I think there was no, like, bad match on the show, but I think the booking on some of these matches I did not enjoy it, especially the NXT match. I didn't like it, the whatever women's tag team match. I thought you have Candice LeRae and Io Shirai they just leave because they get injured on a spot that we didn't even really see. Like, why did they get injured? How did they get injured? We never saw it. And then they come back, and then they're working together, Candice and Io, who are, bitter enemies. They had a fantastic match at TakeOver at SummerSlam, and then they just went to War Games the day before, and now they're working together to help Rhea get out of the bank statement, which Rhea should be, this dominating force, and they put Sasha Banks, who's one of the lead heels in the company, who maybe she shouldn't be a heel because she's so likable and she's so talented, but that's a different issue with the thing. So the booking at the end I thought was atrocious, and I really want to know, like, who is booking this. Like, I know Vince is the head honcho and he is the guy who does everything, but like Triple H, who is the daddy of NXT, he should have a say in this because his quote-unquote company is also being booked in this show as well. So I thought it did some damage to Rhea Ripley. Yes, she was put over, they won the match and everything, but the crowd, as well as me, did not like the booking of NXT at the end of this match.
First of all, did you just call Triple H daddy?
I mean, I said he is the daddy.
Okay.
That's one of his many hats he wears.
Papa Trips, There are a lot of daddies in WWE, but none of them are a better daddy than Sonya Deville. Here's my thing here.
And Tommaso Ciampa. They can both be daddy.
Okay. Look, here's my thing here. This is where the whole brand supremacy thing just kind of... It's too convoluted. It should have just been Team WWE versus NXT. NXT, they have a right to want to fight for brand supremacy. I mean, they just got their own show on the USA Network, They're this little machine that could. Hell, I heard Enzo Amore. You remember that guy? Do you remember that guy? Enzo Amore?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, we're going to talk about him later on in this show. Look, he said that the NXT crowd better than the ECW crowd back in the 90s. He might be right. I wasn't watching back then, but he might be right. Just talk about that consistent run. I mean, it just makes sense. They're cheering on these people who they were the little engine that could. They were the underdogs, and look at them now. They're on the big stage, so to speak. And I felt like if we had just done Raw and SmackDown teaming up together to take on NXT, a lot of this stuff could have been avoided.
Or, hear me out, we do Survivor Series without brand supremacy, and we have traditional Survivor Series tag matches based on heated rivalries.
That's never going to happen.
Well, we have the match pick of the week, and it was a pretty good rivalry Survivor Series tag team match.
I mean, that's basically what Crown Jewel was with Hogan and Flair. That's basically what that was, man. Yeah.
And they didn't find themselves in a booking conundrum. So there you go.
Absolutely. But yeah, I gave it a B. Asuka, she's doing great things. We're going to talk about Asuka later on in the show. Love me some Asuka. Got to see Dana Brooke. I love Dana. Love Dana. Love her a lot. Today's her birthday. Happy birthday, Dana. We're going to move on. Roderick Strong. Yes, the NXT North American champion. He defeats the Raw, or at the time, the United States champion for Raw, AJ Styles, and the Intercontinental champion for SmackDown. Before we get into this match, that new IC title, it reminds me of the Undisputed title that Brock and Kurt and Eddie had back in the day. That Undisputed title, one of my favorite championships, but this new IC title, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Look, the classic white IC title, it stood out. There was nothing wrong with it. You did not have to get rid of it. I mean, look at the guys that held, like, Ryback looked good with it. Finn looked excellent. KO looked good. Miz, he looked like an even bigger star when he had that championship. Seth made it mean something a little bit. Come on, guys. It didn't have. We didn't have to do this. Really.
Yeah, I like the title design in a bubble. I think it does kind of. I don't think it reminds me of like the Undisputed title, but I think it kind of reminds me of like kind of some of the indie, like the European indie titles that we see out there, like Progress and stuff like that.
That's a good
But
point.
I do agree with you that this title did need to be changed, and with all the title changes we've seen in the past, 5 years or whatever, especially since the new logo has been really put into commission, like the IC title is like one of the only titles that really like had a legacy, and you could date it back to the 90s and the 80s, and it's like, this is the title that Shawn Michaels and Macho Man wore and everybody else, and that's kind of gone now. They could have changed this and made like the new tag team titles with this, or even the United States Championship, because yes, it's been this way for 15 years, but the United States Championship, let's be honest, it's more of a WCW thing than the WWE thing. That's why I love the IWGP Championship. It's literally been the same design like forever, and it's like you can date it back and you can see everybody who's held the title, and it's like the same design and it's perfect, and that's what a championship should be. It's like it shouldn't be there to be
No,
sold.
the IWGP heavyweight title. I feel like it's had like a couple other designs. Like, was that's not the same one I remember seeing Brock with. I know that's not the
Wait,
same one I remember seeing Vader with.
well, maybe I'll look it up right now.
Yeah, but I mean, God, we're gonna get into championship designs, But I mean, look, this did not need to happen. And going on the U.S. title thing, look, I mean, people know I play these WWE games. I was on the Community Creations. I saw a combination of the current incarnation of the NXT Championship and then the WCW U.S. title that Goldberg held. They put those together. That thing looks sweet. If we can get something like that going for the U.S. title, I'd be okay with it. But come on, man, you didn't need to do this to the IC. It was classic. It was clean cut. I might have to buy that replica now, just so I can see it. Hell, Brandon, I'll put a logo on it. That might be the new Bulletcast title. Never know. Never know.
Maybe.
Absolutely, but this match was good. If they had just given them like 10 more minutes, like I don't. It didn't seem like this match was really overproduced. But seriously, like what I would have done, I would have just like given these guys 25 minutes and say, "Go have fun." That's all you needed to do. This was very good though. It didn't hit. I thought it was going to go to that upper echelon, but this was good. I gave it a B plus. It was good.
Yeah, I've been kind of saying I'm tempering my expectations. I've been disappointed with Shinsuke matches in the past, so I kept my expectations low. So I would say my expectations, I think, were surpassed. Not saying that it was an A plus, fantastic match or anything, but I thought it was really good. I thought it was pretty much, what I thought you could expect from these guys. But once again, the booking, I wasn't a big fan of. And it was also, an issue because all three of these guys are technically heels. So you get the finish where, the stolen finisher, which we've seen so many times, and that's just another crutch in triple threat matches that I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, I just realized heel versus heel versus heel. We don't get that often. It was special. I enjoyed it. But yeah, man. Like I said, give them 10 more minutes and This could have possibly been an A minus, A plus. It was on the verge of doing that if they had gotten a little bit more time. But a shout out Roddy picking up the win for the Undisputed Era. Speaking of Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, baby. He retains the NXT Championship against Pete Dunne. The night before, Pete Dunne was in a triple threat match with Damian Priest and Killian Dane. I enjoy Killian Dane. I want to see him get a nice little push. Throw him over NXT UK, let him beat Walter for the NXT UK title. I'm all for it. I really am. And Damian Priest, that tope right over the top rope, I was like, oh, okay. He really is the more athletic Baron Corbin. But look, do we have a Wrestler of the Month category, Brandon? Like, it has to be Adam Cole. Nobody's had a better November than Adam Cole, baby. I mean, the match with Bryan, the potential almost match of the week quality with Seth until it got interrupted, and then the latter match with was it Dominic Dijakovic, the War Games match, and then this. Oh my God, we might have to start doing Wrestler of the Month because Adam Cole, he wins November 2019. He
And then he
does.
took Bump of the Year with Keith Lee on Wednesday.
Oh yeah, I saw the clip. I was like, oh my God, Mamma Mia, as Morrow would say. And we're going to talk about Morrow in a little bit. But yeah, man, I mean, oh, this was good. I had to watch it back. When I think a match is really good, I watch it back like the same day or day after. And this was that. They only went 14 minutes, but it was so good.
I thought this was the best match of the show. I didn't think it reached that next level like the Pete Dunne Tyler Bate match, which I was kind of comparing it to going into the show, thinking that, oh, this can just be a one-off, or not a one-off, but it can be the match that they go out there and just have an insane, crazy match. And I thought it was really good. I thought, with the match they had the night before, you kind of don't want them to go out there and do a bunch of crazy spots, which they kind of did. We got a Panama Sunrise on the rig apron, which I don't know why they did that, but, God bless them. So, I mean, the finish was never really in doubt. I thought it was so obvious that Adam Cole was going to win, so that maybe kind of hindered a little bit, but still a really good match.
Yeah, I like how he's modified the last shot to just slapping him in the back of the neck and the back of the head with his knee instead of just face forward. I really do like that. I gave this match an A. Match of the night, in my opinion. We're going to talk about The Fiend in the Blue Universal Championship. He retains it against Daniel Bryan, and it's about 10 minutes. It should have been a couple minutes shorter, in my opinion. Should have been about like 5 or 6. But yeah, I gave this a C plus. Daniel got in way too much offense, and yeah, I don't know if you saw that thing I posted on Instagram for the Bulletcast account, but whoever has a match with The Fiend, they start to have a personality like shift. We saw it with Finn already. Daniel's now like he's mentally unstable, caring about this business so much, and what we saw with Seth on Monday. But yeah,
I enjoyed this match, I think, a little bit more than you did. I think they went so far in one direction with Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins it was just so cartoonish, like literally, like all the moves that the Fiend was taking and just no selling them. So I think you have to rein it in a little bit, and I think they kind of towed that line to where the Fiend was like no selling, but also kind of selling some spots. And I thought this match was better than both the Seth Rollins matches. So I think that they're heading in the right direction. But that you could, leave the door open to a Daniel Bryan match later down the line. But I think we're just kind of seeing like what exactly can you do with the Fiend character when you go so far where he's just stomp, 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 and he just gets up like nothing happened.
yeah, like this was more realistic, and realistic is I'm using that word very loosely. We're talking about a fictional character in a fictional world. It's supernatural, but it did what it needed to do. Can't wait to see, today's Friday, huh? Can't wait to see what's gonna go down with the Fiend. See what's gonna happen there. The men's Survivor Series team match. I gave it a B plus. Keith Lee. Brandon, are you basking in his glory?
If you listen to Under the Radar, the show I do most every week, we took a vacation this week because it's Thanksgiving and everything. But I've been saying for a long time that I do believe that Keith Lee has been in line for a much deserved push, and it seems though he's been getting that.
Dude, I discovered this guy a few years ago. Oh my god, just a gem. I mean, to pin Seth Rollins, who is supposed to be the new, like, really top guy, the guy who beat Brock Lesnar twice this year, so Keith got that rub. But then he had to lay down for the big dog. But even just the exchange, the fist bump at the end, I'm like, okay, okay, much respect. Like Keith Lee, put him on SmackDown. I need Keith and Roman to go 25. I do. I really, really do. You want to make that new Intercontinental Championship mean something to me? Keith and Roman, let them go 25 minutes for it. That'd be dope.
I thought this match was very athletic. It was very well worked and everything. Once again, still had some booking issues. I think this is what you run into when you have a 15-man match and you can't protect everybody. I know the Walter spot where he gets eliminated. I understand the reasoning behind it because he got blindsided and he was beating up on Braun Strowman. But it's like Walter is like such a new character, especially in the WWE sense, where we've never really seen him for that long, and then he just gets kind of eliminated like it's nothing. Damian Priest, I know he didn't really get a whole lot as well, but I think he is kind of the last out of all the five guys on that team. But as you said, I think Keith Lee really did shine, and I think I think it's a good thing to say that Keith Lee was getting the shine, because I think that shows hope that Vince sees something in him. I don't know if that means bad things for Tommaso Ciampa or even Matt Riddle. Yes, he pinned Randy Orton, which if that's a WrestleMania match, I wouldn't complain too much about, because I think that shows that they want Matt Riddle to be in a marquee spot. But overall, very well worked, and of course, at the end, Roman must pose.
Look, let me go off on my tangent about Matt Riddle here. The fact that he pinned Randy Orton a day after Finn Balor beats him, like I'm glad Randy let him eat that RKO. Like he never should have got pinned. If you were gonna build a sports entertainer from the ground up, you know who he'd look like, Brandon?
Matt Riddle?
No, he wouldn't look like that pothead. He'd look like Randy Orton.
Well, I mean, Randy Orton does dabble in the dabs.
Dabs. He dabbles in the dabs because he has abs, good abs. Those are world champion abs. But yeah, enough about my hatred of Matthew Riddle. We're gonna talk about Brock Lesnar retaining the WWE Championship. Look, dude, they almost had me. Like WWE's been so predictable for the last couple of years now, but they really almost had me. Dominic hitting that 619, and then the frog splash, tribute to his. Can we say real daddy on this show? I don't know. Tribute to Eddie, and then I thought for a second if Ray had won, it would have been okay. Really would have been okay.
Yeah, I mean the whatever couple minutes where Ray finally gets the lead pipe and beats him down and does that spot. So, I mean, that was like the one spot where you can okay, he's gonna win, and then he kicks out, and then we all jump back into reality where Brock Lesnar just F5s everybody and we go home.
Yeah. But I gave it a B. It was fun. It was fun. It was nice and fun. We're going to talk about the main event. Shayna Baszler, the NXT Women's Champion, she defeats SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley and Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. This is a C minus, man. Nothing happened. Survivor Series, what this card, what this pay-per-view lacked was a moment, a moment in time where we're going to remember, Survivor Series 1990, The Undertaker shows up, oh my God, Survivor Series, I'm drawing a blank right now, but you know what I mean, a moment, this would have been the perfect time for Ronda Rousey to come, they mentioned her, she could have just come out there, cost Becky the win, let Shayna pin Becky, and then we're basically setting up WrestleMania 36. We're basically setting it up. But nothing happened. And then Becky stood tall at the end anyway. It's what?
I think the crowd did kind of hurt this match. I think you have the men's and women's Survivor Series matches where it's just so much action in such a short period of time. If you can call 30 minutes a short period of time. But, I mean, there's just so much stuff going on in this show that even though it wasn't, a WrestleMania 7-hour show, I think the crowd was a little burnt out, and this match was well built. I understand why I think maybe one of the reasonings to have this match be last is because they wanted NXT to quote unquote stand tall, but then Becky Lynch is the one who gets the comeuppance, even though she got beat clean, and it just didn't make any sense. So I think, that's the reason. Because I think having the men's match be the men's tag team match being the last match, I think could have been realistic. I think having Roman, winning at the end, but have the show of respect between he and Keith Lee. But then I think the whole brand supremacy thing kind of gets in the way because of the numbers and who they want to win. And I think they wanted NXT to win the last match for whatever it's worth. And the match itself, I thought it was fine. I mean, it was well worked. I think it did. The triple threat match did affect it because the real feud is Becky and Shayna, and with Bayley kind of getting in the way and, one of them having to take a nap while the other two work, that does kind of affect the match. But as I said on my NXT War Games recap, if you like, you can go listen to it on this subscription feed. I pretty much predicted, I stamped it in cement, that Shayna Baszler was going to win just because she lost so convincingly the night before at War Games.
Yeah. I mean, War Games. Go what? The women's War Games, they worked very well. Io Shirai, I don't have the zipper sound effect, but you know what I mean. And her diving off the top of the cage, bow, hello. The one thing I do think I really do like about Survivor Series this year, they didn't do Brock versus Fiend versus Adam. Because how does that even work? If Seth was the Universal Champion, okay, then I could see them doing that match. I'm glad those three guys had singles matches for their championships. I'm glad that did happen. Yeah.
And they all worked out. I mean, they were all pretty much, there was not a bad match on the show, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, overall grade Survivor Series 2019, Brandon, what are you going to give it?
I think overall I would give it a solid B+. I thought everything was worked well. Both the Survivor Series matches were really good. The singles matches were good. I think everything was really good. Booking is what kind of takes it away from being an A for me.
Yeah, I'll give it a B-, only because, Matt Riddle pinned Randy Orton.